Peace. What's the word? What's happening, everybody? Give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully, y'all having a powerful Sunday. Y'all see the subject matter, man. We got to build on the little movie that just dropped on us. They clone Tyrone. If you have not seen it, I'm gonna try my best not to spoil it for you, totally. But hey, it is what it is. We might spoil some things for the folks that haven't seen it, but I got to get on here and build on it because it's relevant to what's currently going on. But let me know how y'all living and feeling on this wonderful Sunday before we start tapping in. I got about 45 minutes to an hour for this build, man. I'm not going to hold y'all too long. Just want to chop it up on this particular film, man. But what's the word? Magic, peace, what's happening? How everybody living and feeling on this wonderful Sunday? Hopefully y'all weekend has been peaceful. But we here nonetheless ready to chop it up, man. I normally don't be on this joint on Sundays, but hey, y'all know how I move. How y'all living and feeling, though, man? Talk to me before I start talking to y'all. Was it Zerai Lion? Peace, what's happening? Angelic, peace, what's happening? You say you at work, almost done. Hey, let's get it. Finish strong, as they say. Hey, Feminine Melanin University, peace, what's happening? What's the word? What's the word, my good sister? How we living on this Sunday? Like I say, y'all see what we gonna talk about. They slapped us with the truth. I mean, right in our faces. And called it a sci-fi comedy. Labeled it as a comedy. You know how they like to do it. You know, they give us the truth. They're going to say it's a comedy. You know, it's crazy. Crazy. I'm talking about they made a mockery, basically, of everything that's going on and everything that didn't happen. Made a mockery right in front of us. It's crazy. Crazy. Hey, Magic, there you go. Lindell, peace, what's happening? Crown Heart, peace, what's happening? Virgil, peace, what's happening? Bobby, peace, what's happening? For sure. Feminine Melanin University, yup. Bunch of truths. The funniest part to me in that particular film, like if you haven't seen it, I mean, I'm going to throw some things out there that might spoil it, but it is what it is. But the funniest thing, one of the funniest things to me in this particular film was how they just came out and let us know that they approve of the lab-grown chicken, all that nonsense. They just came out and told us that in this film, they literally had it to where they had chicken and the chicken was laced with some, you know what I'm saying, with some chemicals that had everybody acting crazy. Some mind-controlled chicken. So I'm like, man, they just approved. Like they just made this news that they growing the chicken in the lab, which we already knew this. But then they inserted it in the movie. I was like, yep, slapped us right in the face with it. Right in the face with it. I thought that was one of the funniest parts of the movie. I mean, they literally had the chicken laced with the drugs and had the people acting crazy, laughing because they didn't eat the chicken. And they just let us know what they did to the chicken. I was like, wow. Wow, they bold with it, putting it right in your face. And we not about to think anything up. Oh, Crown Heart for sure. Avid, peace, what's happening? Yeah, but hey, I saw that 1,000%. Yeah, the white folks with the afros. It was so much. It's so many dots that you can connect. With that film is crazy. Wheezy, peace, what's happening? Yeah. The chicken sandwich at Popeyes, crazy. But yeah, like I told them, I said they been manufacturing the meat. We already knew that, you know. But they wanted to come out, let us know something, then throw it in the film. And then, to be honest with you, I'm gonna keep it real. I feel like this whole Jamie Foxx situation was partly a marketing tool to market this movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm keeping real with you. I mean, things. Look, I don't believe in coincidences and things like that. Like, you got to look at the timing of all of this happening. You know, I honestly feel like all this stuff that went on with Jamie Foxx was a way to promote this. It's marketing, fam. It's marketing. You know what I'm saying? All this going to happen to Jamie Foxx. Then the whole theory they knew what type of theory we was going to come up with. They knew what type of theory we was going to come up with this happening to Jamie Foxx and the way that it did. You know what I'm saying? They knew we was gonna start talking about, oh, they cloning him or they cloned him. They knew we was gonna start talking about that. The next thing you know, boom, here this the movie he's working on. This the movie that drops. Man, come on, that's marketing. Jamie Foxx could have had this happen to him during any other movie. It just so happens that it happens before the release of this movie. Come on now. Come on, man. I don't fall for stuff like that, man. Come on. I wasn't born yesterday. Like that I don't believe in no coincidence and things. Like I don't believe in that. Fam, that's timing. I know the industry that we talking about. They real calculated and strategic when it comes to their moves. They know exactly what they are doing. It be the masses falling for the okie doke. I ain't falling for it. Magic for sure. Hey, Melanie University. Yeah, she probably, she probably was tapped in and noticed a lot in that movie. Oh yeah, Crown Heart, you already know, genetically modified. Oh yeah, Undercover Brother, man. It's been so many movies, man. I didn't forgot. It's been so many movies that tapped in and kind of let us know what's about to hit us. You know what I'm saying? There's been a lot of those movies, and they just get, a lot of people don't pay attention to the signs. They don't take it serious. Oh, it's just a coincidence. Things like that, man. It been plenty of movies that had something in the movie that months, years later, what they show in the movie happened in real life. Like, come on now. Serpent X piece, what's happening? Yeah, Bobby, for sure. Playing MJ. You know, like little stuff like that. Got to pay attention to it. Oh yeah, Virgil. Hey, you already know how I feel about that. And I mean, and then again, we saw the experiment that was going on, and was like, we didn't been talking about the trap for how long, and that's exactly what the trap. You know what I'm saying? Like that they referenced the trap plenty of times, in that movie, which they letting you know that they letting you know what's going on. And then I like the part where they played the music in the club, and them people was hypnotized by the music in the club, because I always talk about that. I always talk about the power of music and how they use music to hypnotize us, and why I don't like to listen to a lot of the garbage music that comes on like that's mainstream, because they pushing that music to hypnotize the people, to get them to operate on a certain frequency. That movie had that in there, and I love it when I see that, because that's actual facts. When you go into the club and you shaking your behind to music that's telling you to murder everybody in your family, you don't know what you're doing. Fam, you don't know what you're doing. When you go to club settings, you see exactly that type of scene that they showed in the movie. That is exactly how the club be. People are there, and I'll be the one in the club listening to the lyrics. Like, man, do y'all hear what this music is actually telling y'all to do? And y'all shaking y'all behinds to it. The most filthiest song on the planet. And y'all up in there celebrating, y'all, well, y'all gyrating in that mud. Like, nah, man, I'll be the one sitting back. I'll be like the chick that was in the movie during that scene. Like, man, nah, they trying to hypnotize you. Do you hear what's going on here? This the mind control music. Like, that's why I had to stop. That's why I had to start removing myself from them environments, man. That's hypnotizing, fam. They can play music to get you to fight. They can play music they're gonna slow it down on you. They literally controlling you at the club with the music. All right, I want them to fight. I'm about to play this fight song. You know what I'm saying? I want them to act crazy. I'm about to play this wild song. I want them to dance. I'm gonna play the party song, like they controlling us via the music. And we still got people to this day that don't believe music is that powerful. Music can't make you do anything. Boy, that's a bold-faced lie. Music can influence you to do a whole lot. I promise you it can. It may not directly make you do it, but it can influence you to do a lot. And they know that. We the only people that act like music don't have that type of power. We the only people that act like media in general doesn't have that type of power. They know it, and they exercise that power all the time. They exercise that power all the time. They exercise the power of the music, the media, all the time to get us to act in a certain type of way. And they are very successful at that. Telling y'all. Very successful. And Bobby, the crazy part about the whole Tupac thing in the beginning of the movie, now all of a sudden they coming out raiding folks' houses thinking that they about to solve the mystery of who murdered Tupac. I'm trying to tell you, this stuff ain't no coincidence. In the beginning of the movie, they talking about Tupac being alive, all that type of stuff, and now all of a sudden they getting closer to solving the case of Tupac's death. Like, come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Melanin for sure. Yeah, they definitely use that. And I feel like I just feel like it was some backhand stuff in regards to prolonging him responding, prolonging, giving us updates. I feel like they was partially behind that because I know that industry works like that. I know some people that's connected to that industry and they would do something like that. Like, all right, boom, you didn't feel ill during this film, but they using this as a PR moment. Hey, hold off on saying something. We want the crowd, we want the folks to speculate on what happened to you or what's happening to you. We gonna pay you extra to not say anything. Don't give them an update. Let's say you protecting your privacy. All this type of good stuff. Man, that be happening big time. That be happening big time in the industry. They using that as a PR moment. Like, all right, boom, something happened to them, but hey, this is how we gonna play it. We want them to speculate. You know, we working on this film. They clone Tyrone, so we want them to speculate in regards to what's happening to you. So don't you say nothing. This is when you speak. Have your daughter say this. All this type of good stuff. Like they they had a hand in that for sure. I don't believe, me personally, that the way Jamie Foxx and them handled the situation is the way that they wanted to, or the way he wanted to handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like they had a role in how that situation was handled. Because the timing is just crazy. Like he came out and spoke right before, like the timing of him actually coming out and saying something is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just all the timing of everything. Like, again, I can't deal with a coincidence. Just the timing of this whole thing is like a slap in the face. Like they slapped us right in the face. Like it was crazy. And then the part that really, you know what I'm saying? DJ Elmo Peace, what's happening? The part that we really got to focus on, this the part that I really tapped in that folks might have overlooked. The Conqueror Peace, what's happening? Moni Peace, what's happening? So the part that I tapped in was how they had one of those secret labs in the church. The church was one of the areas where they had the secret lab. And in the church, they end up playing the Juvenile song, fam. The church was one of the places where they had the folks hypnotized, and it was one of the places where they had the secret laboratory. I really focused on that, fam. I really tapped into that. Listen, y'all already know I quote this book all the time, The Religious Instructions of the Negro, fam. That book, man, The Religious Instructions of the Negro in America. I got that book behind me. I should have went and grabbed it. Yeah, I should have went and grabbed it for y'all. The Religious Instructions of the Negroes in the United States. That book lets you know that they gave black folks the churches, and they chose the people that they wanted to become pastors, and they gave these pastors strict instructions in regards to what to tell their congregation or the congregations. So when I saw that part in the movie where they had the lab in the church, it made me think of that book when they was giving the pastors instructions. This is what I need for y'all to tell y'all congregation, and we gonna pay y'all a little lump sum under the table. I never trust the church, fam. And again, you might have some decent churches out here, definitely the small ones. But when you got a lot of these mega churches, emphatically, no, they not getting trusted. But a lot of these pastors are working with the very people who we would consider an enemy or an oppressor. They getting paid by them, fam. They getting paid by him. Best believe they are getting clear instructions on what to tell folks. So I found that part. That was one of the most interesting parts for me. The lab was in the church. And the church was one of the places where the mind controlling was happening. You know what I'm saying? And the pastor had them doing all type of playing the juvenile, which again, just look at all of the stuff that just lines up. In the movie, they at the church playing who? Juvenile. Juvenile just had one of the best Tiny Desk concerts that we'd have seen on YouTube. Like, none of this stuff is a coincidence, man. None of this stuff is a coincidence. Like, come on. Like, you got to connect all these dots. Juvenile just had one of the best Tiny Desks we've never seen, like nostalgic purposes, for anybody that comes from my era and a little bit before me. That was nostalgic. Then you tap into this movie, The Church. It's a lab in the church. Then they got Juvenile, playing the Juvenile Love in the church. And I just got done watching this Tiny Desk a week ago. Come on now. Come on now. Jasmine, peace, what's happening? Juan, what's happening? Boom, Crypto, peace, what's happening? Terenzo, peace, what's happening? So yeah, man, it was so much that I was tapping into, but they tried to get you though. They tried to blind you by the comedy. So I ain't gonna even lie. The movie was very funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jamie Foxx had me crying in the movie. Like, Jamie Foxx had me rolling. But you had to snap out of that real quick so you could pay attention to what was really going on. But the movie was funny. So you might miss some things because you laughing at what dudes was doing. You know what I'm saying? So that's how they tried to get you, man. They tried to sprinkle that comedy in on you, and you out here laughing. You know what I'm saying? Because it's funny. And you missing all the stuff that they throwing right in your face. So you might have had to watch that mug twice. You got to watch it one way through where you just gonna laugh at it. Then the second time, you're like, all right, man, let me really pay attention. Like, you got to watch this thing several times. Straight up. Oh, yeah, Bobby, yeah, the grape drink. The grape drink had the stuff in it. It's crazy. You got to pay attention to, we got to pay attention. Yeah, Melanie Universe. I'm trying to tell you, the church, the chicken spot, like the places where we, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then we got to pay attention too. It was a cat, the older OG in the movie that they went to get the proper guidance and direction. It's the OG that we laugh at on the street, who we would call a bum, was giving them the wisdom, telling them where to go to find the truth. That was the message. There was, don't judge that book by its cover. You might get proper guidance and wisdom by a bum off the street. That's where you can find a lot of Jews. Straight up. Oh, hey, Bobby, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a big message in that. And a lot of the messages is, don't judge the book by its cover or their occupation. Yeah, that's what's funny. You got who they called the hoe, the pimp, and the drug dealer. And they was the ones that they was the ones figuring some things out. So we got, man, come on. Come on now. Melanie University, yep. And man, yep. And even before then, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, that the book that I referenced, that was written in like the 1800s, I believe. So they've been told us what's up with they have literally been told us what's up with the black churches. And we still get surprised and act surprised when we see these pastors out here pimping the congregation. Like, they've been told us that this is the situation. So once I got healed, man, I was like, nah, I'm good. I don't even need to be up in the church. I'm good on it. You know, so that's why I like that they put that in the movie. You know what I'm saying? Even though people gonna overlook it. And I don't trust y'all. Red Bird, what's happening? Boom crypto, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, man. Hey, that stage for show. Stage for show. Bobby, my brother, appreciate the donation. You say streetwalkers weren't clones, but the hustler and the pimp was clone. What's your thought on that? Bobby, my simple thought on that, my simple thought on the hustler and the pimp being clone, it goes back to this quote when they say you can't fool all the people all of the time, but if you fool the right one or the right ones, then the rest will fall behind. So if I get the pimp and I get the hustler, then I don't need to clone the streetwalkers because they're going to follow the pimp and they're going to follow the hustler. When you a kid and you in that life, you look up to the pimp, you want to be just like the pimp and you want to be just like the hustler. So all we got to do is clone the pimps and the hustlers and give them the instructions and get them to act a certain type of way. And then the people that's in the street, they going to gravitate towards them anyway. So they don't have to clone everybody. All they got to do is clone the right people. All they got to do is give the right people the instructions, and the rest of the people going to fall right in line. That's all they got to do. If I fool the right person, everybody else going to fall in line. So that's my simple thoughts on that. Real simple. Everybody going to look up to the hustler in that street life. When you brought up in the streets, you look up to the hustler, you look up to the pimp, especially when you a young brother. You look, man, he got all the women. Woo-de-woo. He dressing flashy. You look at the hustler, he got all this money, he buying all these cars. That's who you gonna look up to. So if they can get to them, they gonna get to the masses. So whoever the people in that particular environment look up to, they gonna clone them, they gonna target them. They don't have to target the actual people. So that's exactly how that go. Antonio, peace, what's happening? That's exactly how that go. Oh, boom. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I be watching movies. Matter of fact, that's the new thing for me. I'm watching all the movies because they be dropping all the cues in them, they be dropping all the clues in the movies. And these shows. Man, these shows and these movies be giving us game. Like 100%, 1,000%. They throw so much truth out here in these movies and these shows, it's ridiculous. They let you know what they planning on doing. They let you know what they currently are doing. You know what I'm saying? Like they will throw some stuff out there if you watch the right movie and the right shows. They gonna throw it out there on you. Style, yeah, hey, that block style plus that blockchain scene was it was very interesting because it it made me think about when crypto hit the scene and how everybody jumped on that wave, and she kind of alluded to that in the film. So I'm like, are they trying to do the same thing with the blockchain? Try to get us all to start gravitating towards it just for something else. Just for something else to take over on that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, hold on. I had to think about that part. Hey, Ma Parker, man. Hey, Zaza Ali, yeah, buddy. Yeah, I got her book. Yeah, but yeah, they put a lot of the truth right smack in our face, smacking our face. I mean, every scene just smacking our face, letting us know what's going on. Edward Peace, what's happening? And then I just want to tap in. Now, I'm not saying I'm not gonna go out. Hey, the wife is in the building. Y'all say peace to the wife. I'm not gonna, whether Jamie Foxx cloned or not, I ain't talking about that. But if you do not think that they are out here doing that, I don't know what to tell you. They letting you know that they doing that to your food. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't think that they out here experimenting with people, like this is like they are doing that. Like this ain't even something that I have to believe. None of that. They are actually doing this. Like if you do enough research, they let you know that they are doing this. Like this been part of their agenda. This has been something that they have worked on and been working on. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny to me when people start acting like clone. So this must be funny to me. Y'all got the nerve to sit here and tell me y'all believe in aliens and all other type of stuff, but then when I start saying they cloning folks, now y'all want to look at me like I'm crazy. Man, come on now. We could believe in all this other stuff, but then somebody say they cloning humans, which is something that they've been working on, which is something that they very capable of doing. You know what I'm saying? Now people want to be like, nah, that's a conspiracy. Like, what? Come on now. Best believe that that's a real possibility out here. Best believe not even a possibility. They are doing it. They are doing it. That ain't anything that I'm about to write off as a conspiracy. Trust and believe they cloning not just meat. They are cloning humans. They are cloning a lot out here. Like, seriously. Seriously. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, they all of that. You can change your sex. You know what I'm saying? You could be a man 1 minute, then you come out a woman the next minute. But again, when we say they cloning humans, man, that's a conspiracy. But if I wake up and say my name is Erica, you know what I'm saying, and not Eric, and then now all of a sudden I want to turn into a woman, then I could go do that. But we don't think they can clone a human though. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Come on now. Yeah, style, and I can see that too. I can see that too. And we do. Yeah, unfortunately, we didn't have to learn. A lot of us didn't have to learn how to get money illegal ways and all that type of nonsense. Because of the lack of opportunities for us, and they closing doors on us and things like that. So a lot of people had to get it by any means. One thing a dude gonna try to do is feed his family. You know what I'm saying? If he got to get it by illegal means, he gonna do it. So when they mention blockchain, it's like, all right, that's something to study. That's something to look into. Antonio, for sure. And not only are we gonna debate about, like, we not gonna dive deeper into what what was actually portrayed in the movie. We gonna write it off as basically a good movie, and that's it. We're not gonna have any deep conversations about what's really going on. Like I said, why was the lab in the church? Why did the pastor have people dancing the juvenile in the church? That's a master center for programming black people. The church, master center. You want to program black people? What better place to go to than the church? And then the places where they serving the fried chicken. You know what I'm saying? After church, literally. Back in the day, after church, man, you going to get you some church's chicken. Fam, you know what I'm saying? So these are the places where if you want to go get these for, then the club, they hitting all the hot spots. You know what I'm saying? All the hot spots. The music about to program you. The food about to control you. The church, all these places. All these places, fam. All these places and all these things that I've spoken highly about. Like I say, the music scene, the club scene really got me, because I've been on that time for a minute. We being brainwashed by the music, being hypnotized by the music, and don't think that that's happening. So that scene right there, man, that was lovely. That was lovely, fam. That was a lovely scene. A lovely scene. Because y'all, I'm telling you, people swear up and down, man, y'all can't, that music can't make y'all do this, that, and third. Okay. Now, okay. I'm telling you right now, your African ancestors know how powerful the beat of a drum is. You know what I'm saying? They know how powerful rhythm is. You better get hip. Better get hip, or else they gonna get you. That music and that rhythm gonna have you doing something that you didn't even think you was capable of doing. Like, come on now. The black intellectual. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Hey, Bobby, there you go. Hey, I know how that go. You know what I'm saying? They got to give you a D for that one. They got to give you a D for that. They got to give you a D for that. Hey, peace to everybody that's tapping in, though. Peace to everybody that's tapping in. Yeah, peace to everybody. It's not peace to everybody that's tapping in. But yeah, man, that movie had a lot of symbolism in it. A lot of symbolism. Like I said, the hustler and the pimp being cloned, you know, hey, can't fool all the people all of the time, but if you fool the right ones, then the rest will fall behind. So let's go ahead and get the pimp and the hustler and clone him. That's clone them. So they can get all the rest of the people to do what we want them to do. And then they had to slap us back in the face, and who came out there and spoke the magic words and had the folks doing whatever. Y'all already know where I'm going with that. Style. Hey, yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure. You know? So that's, man, I'm trying to tell you. That movie's so crazy. It's just all the stuff I be talking about was in that. The food being laced. I'm trying to tell you, man, that I'm like, man, this is exactly what I've been talking about for the last 12, 13, 14 years. Exactly what I've been talking about. Exactly what I've been talking about. Oh yeah, man. Hey, when you telling the truth, you know how I go, Bobby. Man, they got it. Hey, nah, we can't reward that. You know, he inserting some truth on his paper. Nah, give him that bad grade so he won't do that again. Why? Yeah, we was talking about that. The chicken sandwiches had everybody going crazy, and I started to think about something like, man, maybe because it was a whole experiment. I'm like, shoot, maybe they experimenting on us with the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe that's a part of the experiment. They watching our reaction and responses to the movie. You know, just like they was watching everything in the movie, like they watching the way we respond to the movie. This is an experiment. Them giving us the movie how they gave it to us. That's part of the experiment. You know, so I started thinking about that. I'm like, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to look at it like that. Like, man, they watching everybody. This a whole experiment. I say this movie might be one. So I said, hold on. Yeah, I was like, this movie an experiment, fam. So I'm like, yeah, that was like the main message right there that might have went over our heads. We looking at the deeper meanings when the whole while this movie is an experiment on us. Hey Jay, hey for real, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know, I'm normally if I'm watching something late at night, I'm about to fall asleep because of how much I be working and stuff, man. But I stayed awake on that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like I was wide awake. Normally, you put something on, man. It's later in the night. You can cancel Christmas. I'm falling asleep 10 minutes. But nah, I was watching that joint though. I'm like, oh snaps. I was locked and loaded. That joint every bit of 2 hours. I'm like, nah, I'm finna watch this. Hold on. Equal Opportunity Opinions, man. It's the movie They Clone Tyrone with Jamie Foxx in it, man. Jamie Foxx, the movie Jamie Foxx was working on before he had his little situation and whatnot. Yeah, but hey, They Live is one of my favorite movies. They Live. Shout out to Roddy Piper. But They Live is one of my favorite movies. All the symbol that the old school joint with the symbolism in it. You know, Dean, peace, what's happening? I be up, but y'all know good. You know good and well. I fall asleep on everything that I be tapped into, especially at 12 o'clock at night. I don't be up watching stuff at 12 o'clock. I'm falling asleep. For me to stay up during a whole 2-hour movie without falling asleep is miraculous. Man, I doze off with the quickness. Hey, Wes, what's happening? Lorenzo for sure. Yeah, but for sure. You know, and speaking of the Matrix, that's another one of them joints. Yeah, another one of them joints, you know. But that takes me back, like I say, to the time where I used to watch and study a lot of Professor Griff. You know, he was into mentioning movies, man. I was watching Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick. That dude make some of the weirdest movies, but it's filled with symbolism. Eyes Wide Shut is weird, but that's a lot of symbolism in that movie. And all of that dude movies is like that. But all of that dude movies is laced with a bunch of symbolism, breaking down a lot. But that Eyes Wide Shut, I remember I saw that for the first time, and I'm like, man, what is going on in this joint? You know what I'm saying? But that movie is a lot of symbolism. It lets you know what's going on in Hollywood, all of that. All of that. But Eyes Wide Shut, you will be watching that and be like, man, what am I watching? But you got to see that movie through, and you got to connect it. You know what I'm saying? You got to connect that joint to the Hollywood industry, and you gonna see a lot of that nonsense going on. You know, that movie, like P. Diddy parties that they be talking about, Eyes Wide Shut got the party in that thing. It show you how them parties go down. It show you what they be on in them parties. You know what I'm saying? But Eyes Wide Shut that movie was crazy. Anybody who's seen Eyes Wide Shut know exactly what I'm talking about. And he got another movie. Man, I gotta remember the other movie of his that I saw that I was like, man, what? I'm trying to see if I can find that joint. I gotta look the other one up. I done forgot the name of it. But he got another movie, man. Let me see if I can find the name of that joint. Yeah, but this movie I'm thinking about, man, is old. Yeah, I think this was it, man. It weird movie. But A Clockwork Orange. Man, the movie is weird. A Clockwork Orange. Bro, that's the thing. Man, I watched that movie maybe like a year or two ago, and I was like, man, what? But I watched that whole joint. A Clockwork Orange, man. That's a Stanley Kubrick film, and that joint came out in like 1971 or something. And that joint crazy, but very relevant to today's time. Very relevant. Yeah, Elmo. Yeah, he died shortly after that. That Eyes Wide Shut. I remember that. Then I think the last joint of his that was released was, I think, a film called Artificial Intelligence. If I'm not mistaken, I think the last film that Stanley Kubrick that was released under his name to this date was something called AI, Artificial Intelligence. If I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he was killed shortly after that Eyes Wide Shut. You gotta start watching that, man. When these film directors and all that, when they start, just like the musicians, man, when they start putting truth into their movies without the approval of them, like they will allow certain things to leak out as long as they approve it. But when you take it upon yourself to release some information, nah. Like, hold on. We didn't approve this. Where you getting your information from? Like, where you getting that information from? Yeah, DJ Elmo. I think Kubrick had something to do with that film. I don't know what his role was, but he had something to do with that film. But I know, yeah, Spielberg, I think, produced it, but Kubrick has something to do. His name was attached to that film in some way, shape, or form. I just don't know what his role was. I don't know what his exact role was. Yeah, hey, so y'all done seen that Clockwork Orange. Yeah, man, Man, I was watching that movie like, what is happening? Fam, like, what is going on here? But yeah, Stanley Kubrick, I'm a fan of his movies because his movies be having a lot of the symbolism. But see, when you watching some of his joints, you gotta watch, it. Like you can't be tired, fam. You gotta be focused because there's gonna be so much symbolism and so much stuff that's going on that appears random, but it's not. So you gotta be alert. You know what I'm saying? When you watching those films, you gotta be alert completely, 100%, or you gonna miss it. You gonna watch a movie by Stanley Kubrick, and if you're not alert and paying attention, the movie ain't gonna make sense to you. You're gonna be like, man, what am I watching? You know, so you really gotta pay attention during movies like that, or else you just not gonna understand what you watch. It's gonna not make any sense to you at all. Sorry about it. Yep. Okay, man. Hey, y'all naming these joints now. Doctor Strange Love. Yeah, I seen that one. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I be tapped into these movies, man. Hey, Minority Report was crazy too. Who was that? Was that Tom Cruise? Who was that was in Minority Report? Was that Tom Cruise? Yeah, I think that was Tom Cruise in Minority Report. Minority Report was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Very crazy. Yeah, I'm trying to tell y'all. I never forget when Phil Valentine said, "Watch a movie with a critical eye." You know what I'm saying? So every time he say when he watch movie, he taking notes. So we got hey, you watching these movies, man, you gotta be taking notes, whether it's mental notes or physical notes. Man, you gotta be paying attention, man. You can extract something from everything, including these movies. Yeah, Demolition Man, yup. Yeah. Yeah, my Minority Report was crazy, man. And I can never remember. And I'm about to remember this movie, man. Hold on. It's another movie, man. I can never remember the name of the movie, but it has some symbolism in it too. I'm about to find the name of this joint. I want to say it was Bruce Willis, and I want to say it was Bruce Willis. I want to say I didn't mention this movie before. I want to say it was Bruce Willis, man. I want to say it was Bruce Willis that was in the film. Uh, but it ain't finna take me nothing to find. I'm about to find that joint. Yeah. Now, speaking of Bruce Willis film, 12 Monkeys. That was Bruce Willis. That was crazy. That was a crazy. That was a crazy movie. If you seen that, yeah, you seen 12 Monkeys. That movie was kind of crazy. But I think, man, I can't think of this movie to save my life. It's another movie, man, that had like the oil spill that was in that joint. Movie was crazy, man. It had some predictions in there. Let me see if I can find the name of that movie, man. I'm about to find that joint. Y'all might know what I'm talking about. I know they had the oil spill that was predicted in that joint. You know, you probably looked the stuff up now. You probably can't find it because they removed it. But this was a minute ago that this movie came out, man. This might have been like 08, 07 or something like that. And was that the Fifth Element? Hold on. Was that that? Hold on, man. I got to look at that joint because I don't know if that's it. Ah, man, this ain't the Fifth Element. Ain't what I'm talking about. But I didn't seen the Fifth Element though. But nah, that still ain't what I'm talking about, man. I'm trying to figure, man. It was oil spill that was predicted in this movie. That could have been. I don't think that was the Fifth Element though. I think the oil spill that happened in the Gulf Coast, man. I forgot that might have happened in like, was it like right around the 09, 2012, 2013, 2014 time period that oil spill had happened. It's a movie that had that joint predicted before it actually happened. And that movie was crazy. Man, y'all know somebody better name this movie, man. Y'all know what movie I'm talking about. 1984. Hey, that book is crazy too. Nah, it ain't they live. Nah, nope. It ain't they live, man. Look at that. You can't even find the oil spill, but you can't even type it in because they got so much stuff filtered out. It's ridiculous. Man, you can't find nothing. Hold on, man. I'm gonna find that movie, man. I'm gonna find that movie for sure. It was an oil spill on the Gulf of Mexico that happened around 2010. Nah, it ain't Unbreakable. When I see the name of the movie, I'ma know it. But I can't think of it. I can't think of it, man. And you can't look stuff up now because they didn't got rid of everything that got all these predictions and stuff like that. Nope, it ain't white. No, man, I'm trying to tell you, I can't think of the movie, man. Somebody named the movie one time. That's it. There we go. Hold on. I think I found the movie. I think I found that joint. Man, who in this movie? Nicolas Cage. I got the wrong. Bruce Willis is Nicolas Cage. Knowing. I know y'all seen that movie. It's called Knowing. Not The Knowing, but it's just called Knowing. That movie, Knowing. That came out in like 09. That is the movie right there. Nicolas Cage. I didn't say Bruce Willis, but it's Nicolas Cage. The movie Knowing. Like that's one of them ones. If you ain't seen that, that's one of them ones. Knowing. That's a good movie right there. Knowing with Nicolas Cage in that joint. That's the movie that had the oil spill in that joint before it happened. You know what I'm saying? The oil spill might have happened some months or maybe like a year or so after this movie dropped, and they had the oil spill in the movie in the exact location that it actually happened in. It's crazy. And the fact that that movie's called Knowing was even more crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Knowing with Nicolas Cage, that's the one. Yeah, she say keeping tabs on me. I've seen a lot of these. I've seen half the movies that everybody mentioned. Now I got to go. See, now y'all finna. Now I got to go back and rewatch these movies because she ain't seen the movies. Now it's looking bad now. Gotta get her help. But you did. I know you seen Eyes Wide Shut. You saw that movie. You might not remember watching it, but you saw Eyes Wide Shut, and you tapped in when I was watching that Clockwork Orange, and you thought that was the weirdest. You was like, what am I watching? That Clockwork Orange movie, you seen me watching that when you just was like, what am I watching? You thought I was watching something that was weird. But yeah, I didn't. The Clockwork Orange was that movie was crazy. But it really started to make sense at the end. But knowing was crazy. Knowing was crazy. Nicolas Cage was crazy. But yeah, I think I threw y'all off and I said Bruce Willis. I couldn't think of the dude, man. I'm gonna treat the white folks like they all look alike. You know what I'm saying? So I got them mixed up. But whatever, man. Y'all, we got it figured out. I was gonna figure that out. But yeah, that was back in the day where I was watching all the movies with the symbolism in it. All the movies, the movies that they would label sci-fi and all that type of stuff. They label a lot of those movies sci-fi. And they put a lot of that stuff in those sci-fi movies, which is crazy because they call it science fiction, but it's not fiction. You know what I'm saying? So it's like two words that they use on us, which creates confusion. Science and fiction. Like that's like a ultimate paradox, science fiction. Like when you really think about that genre, it really don't even make any sense for something to be science fiction. But like that's how they hide a lot of that stuff in that genre. They call it science fiction. You know what I mean? Like just think of those two words being grouped together. Science and fiction. You know what I mean? Like that I always find that funny. That combination of words being a whole genre. Like, nah, man, a lot of that stuff be based on reality, based on future reality, things that they are working on. things that they are putting in motion that will happen a few months or weeks after this movie comes out. But science and fiction, come on now, that's funny to group those words together for a genre. Total Recall, yeah, I seen that one. I seen Total Recall. Yeah, I didn't see Total Recall for sure. And all of these are labeled as what? You look up all these movies, they're gonna be labeled as science fiction. Like, come on now, science fiction. You know, if you want to know what's gonna happen in the world, go watch all science fiction. Hey, but I ain't seen The Blackening yet. I actually had some of my clients talk about it earlier this morning, so I gotta tap in. I gotta watch that, but nah, I ain't seen that one yet. But I'm gonna tap in with it though. Yeah, I'm gonna see what that one is talking about as well. Hey, Kerman, peace, what's happening? But yeah, man, all of this stuff that we seeing in these movies is happening. They cloning folks. They been manufacturing and cloning food. They been doing that with the food, fam. They brainwashing you up in the church. They brainwashing you with the music. All of this is happening. You know, they take the most influential people in these bad neighborhoods and they control them. They manipulate them to get them to instill all of that into the masses. Like, this is what's going on. Oh, Antonio, yeah, I gotta tap in. And see that one. James, peace, what's happening? Hey, Wheezy, you know what I'm saying? Hey, that's how I look at it. They look alike. That's how they do us. But yeah, all of this stuff is happening, fam. And you in the movie, Buddy, I just forgot his name. What's his name? Buddy, the hustler, you know what I'm saying? Or the drug dealer, whatever. He basically was like, his role, like once old white Buddy came out the joint and dude was putting two and two together, he was just like, man, so my role is to come back and keep everything in a messed up state, basically. That's what he like. He's like, man, so basically my role is to keep everything in a messed up state. Paraphrasing what he said. But he realized what they had him do, like his role. So y'all keep recreating me, put me back out here to keep everything messed up. So that's why I'm coming back into existence. Like, that's what he realized. That's the dude realized it. Like, man, y'all put me back into rotation to keep everything messed up. And one of the major keys, like, now this is the main key that might went over folks' heads. Yeah, Fontaine. But in that particular scene, notice that the men, the two guys, Jamie Foxx and the Fontaine guy, were brainwashed. Were the one under the controls, the mind control. Notice that the chick was not. So they had the men brainwashed. They had the men under the spell. They had the black man under the spell while the black woman was not under the spell. So when the white dude gave the commands, he was controlling the men, was not controlling the woman. If y'all peep that scene, when the white dude, when he said the little Olive, what was it? Man, what was the key word? Man, Oliver's Twist or something. I don't know what it was, man. But when he said that, it was controlling the men. Control the men. That's letting you know how this works. If we brainwash, if we control these men, we ain't even got to worry about the women. We ain't even worried about the women. All we got to do is get the men and brainwash and mind control the men. And we got it. We got it. That's something that I found that part of the movie was very interesting. That particular scene. The sister was not under the mind control, but the men were. The men were, you know, and when the men were under that, wasn't nothing she couldn't even do nothing. She couldn't do nothing. She was helpless at that point. That was crazy. So they like, we ain't even got to brainwash you. We can let you be you. We gonna brainwash these men though. Yeah, and I saw that part. It's crazy. Look how they view you just gonna be a secretary. You ain't even valuable enough for us to even brainwash you. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. You ain't even we don't even care to brainwash you. Yeah, we don't even care. We finna get these dudes though. Yeah, the man. Yeah, exactly. So they know. And that's why I always go hard on my brothers, because I know we are mainly the targets of the brainwashing and the mind control. So that's why I be so hard on my brothers, for us to wake up and realize the truth, because we are the ones affected more so by the mind controlling and all of that good stuff. Because they know if we get these dudes to act a certain type of way, nobody else really matters. Yeah, Bobby. Yeah, with the hair relaxers for sure. Yeah, they got him with that one. That was easy money. That was easy money. that was easy money. Like, we finna get him with the boom, easy money. Yeah, but in that scene though, under like the hypnosis, she wasn't under the hypnosis. We were, and it was that part. That little scene was crazy. But I'm all. That's why I be going hard on the brothers. Like, man, we can't be victim. We got to realize what's going on. Because when we snap out of it, the whole nation gonna snap out of it. And that's why they done made things like COINTELPRO, a whole counterintelligence program to stop the rise of the Black Messiah, which is a black man rising up. So when you see these black male leaders rise up, they got to get rid of that, because to them, that's the Black Messiah that they created COINTELPRO to stop. That's the whole reason why that counterintelligence program existed and still exists to this day. Now, they're going to tell you that it don't exist, but it does still exist. They're going to tell you that they got rid of COINTELPRO, but they lying. That's the whole reason that it exists in the first place. Chocolate Bunny, Tony, peace, what's happening? Yeah, Juan, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. I ain't mean that. Let me rephrase what I was saying. I ain't mean that they never brainwashed him, but in that particular scene under the hypnosis, like that scene right there spoke some volumes for me. It just let us know, hey, if we get the man under our hypnosis, we control everything. I'm talking about that specific scene. Like in that particular scene with them three, it wasn't even important to have that sister under hypnosis. Like, we don't even need to have you under hypnosis. We don't need to have all three of y'all under hypnosis. We just need to have these two men under hypnosis, and you done. So I'm talking about that particular scene. Like, if I get these two brothers under hypnosis, you have no power. No power. But yeah, that wig did come in handy though. She had that wig on. That came quite in handy. Yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah. That movie was good. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I had already been familiar with that story, which that's why I was like, I couldn't wait to see that, because I already knew how the story. I had read a book. I got a book called the FBI's assassination on Fred Hampton or something like that. I'm paraphrasing the title, but I got a book behind me that detailed everything that you saw in that movie. You know what I'm saying? So when that movie dropped, I was like, yes, sir. Let me see if they connecting all these dots, if they telling the full truth. Because a lot of times they leave out the truth in these movies when it comes to actual truth. What's crazy is when it's actual things that's based on reality, it be more fiction than the science fiction or the fiction movies. So when they actually create a movie that's based on a true story, a lot of times that stuff don't be right. It don't be the real account of what happened. So that'd be more fiction than the actual fictional movie. It'd be crazy. When they tell you something's based on a true story, man, they about to stretch the truth. They about to omit some facts. They ain't about to tell the whole truth. And those be the movies that be based on a true story. They might be missing a lot, which is crazy. That'd be the funny part. Like, man, this is based on reality, but you leaving out all these crucial facts. Then this is science fiction. They putting all the facts and slapping us in the face with all of them. Yeah, we could go back to Rosewood, all these movies, man, where they tapped in and demonstrated their fear of us, But yeah, Judas and the Black Messiah, that Fred Hampton story. Shout out to Chairman Fred, Chairman Fred, young bull. Like, people don't be understanding how young some of these dudes be or were when they died, fam. Like, I don't think people understand that. Like, you would go watch a Fred Hampton speech, and you would think Fred Hampton was like 35 when he died. Like, Fred Hampton was 21, fam, when he was killed. Like, we don't be understanding that a lot of these brothers died very young. They had a lot of years left ahead of them. Fred Hampton was 21. He wasn't 31, wasn't 25, wasn't 41. Fred Hampton was 21 years old when he was killed, fam. When you go listen to Fred Hampton speak, when you go tap into his speeches, man, you would think Fred Hampton was way older than that. You would think he was way older than that. Like, straight up, Fred Hampton was just 21. 21 years old, man. Look what they did to him. So that's how we gotta move wisely. We gotta learn from all of that, We gotta learn from it. And that's why they call it the Judas and the Black Messiah. Like, the story of Judas lets you know that if you're gonna get betrayed, it's gonna be by somebody that's closest to you. We can't take that message for granted. We cannot take that message for granted, fam. When you study history, you'll find that cycle repeating itself quite frequently. That when folks get betrayed, it is by somebody that is in their own inner circle. Man, this happens. We receive these messages, these parables, and these allegories for a reason. You got to keep an eye on these folks, fam. The person you least suspect and expect to do something like that to you is the one that you should expect the most. It's an unfortunate reality, but that's just what it is. You got to think about it. If somebody wants to set you up, why would they go try to use somebody that don't know anything about you to do it? They're not going to be successful. If they want to set you up, if they want to get to you, they got to use somebody that's close to you that can get right up on you. That's the only way that they can get you. They can't use an enemy, a person that you don't like. They not going to get far with that. That's already going to be suspicious. Like, damn, man, this dude, I ain't never talked to this dude. Now all of a sudden he's trying to be my friend. It's going to be too obvious. They're like, man, we got to pay somebody off that's connected to him, that's been rolling with him for 20 years, 15 years, one of his best friends. That's how they got to do it. So when you start speaking a certain type of language, when you start speaking a certain type of message, you got to start watching the people around you. See if they acting funny. When you become a powerful leader, you got to tap in with these people that's around you all the time. Because if something is going to happen, it's going to come from them. It's going to come from them. So you got to watch them. You got to watch everybody, but you definitely got to keep an eye on these people that's around you every day when you become a powerful black male in America. These people that's rolling with you every day they will be the ones that if something happens to you, they will be the ones to tip off the folks, tip off the feds. Oh, Bobby, yeah. Now that part, I ain't even put my finger on that one. But that's some good information for that, about them being failed experiments. Oh yeah, Juan, never ignore that intuition, man. Never ignore that. Never ignore that, man. That's how you walk right into terrible situations and circumstances, by ignoring what they would call the second brain. Like, they let you know that gut is connected to the brain. They let you know that. They call it the second brain. So it's science behind the intuition and your gut feeling, man. When you get that gut feeling, it's a reason why you got it. We can't be ignoring that. Like, never ignore that gut feeling, man. Never ignore that. Never ignore it. Examine it. Like, all right, man, it's the reason why I feel this way. I've been rocking with this dude for 15 years. I ain't never felt suspicious, but now all of a sudden I feel suspicious about dude. It's a reason. Examine that. Don't write it off, man. Don't do it. A lot of time, I see it all the time, man. People walk into a bad situation, or they have something bad happen to them, and they say, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Like, man, you ignored yourself. You ignored the gut. Don't be doing that. Don't do it. When you get that gut feeling, you getting it for a reason, man. Pay attention to it. Ride that wave. Ride that wave. Don't let that come and go. But I done seen that happen to way too many good people, man. They all of a sudden, something happened to them, and they like, man, I knew. They go to a place, something pop off, they end up harmed or whatever the case. They like, man, I knew I shouldn't have went to that. Or they might have had somebody try to warn them. Like, man, you might not, like, I don't feel right. Like, you might be with a lady or something. She like, man, I don't feel good about you going here. And you ignore that. Like, man, you better pay attention to every sign. When there's people around you saying, hey, man, I don't think you should go to this side of town right now. Especially if it's somebody that never really says that, you got to pay attention to that. Yeah, I'm listening. I'm listening to everybody. Ultimately, I'm going to still make a decision. But trust me, if you didn't told me something, like, man, I don't think you should do this, I don't think you should do that, I didn't listen. If I decided to still make the decision to do it or go there, I'm understanding the consequences that could come with that. And I've accepted it. Like, man, I heard what you said, but like, I'm still gonna make this move because of this. And I'm understanding what potential consequences can come with that decision. But I ain't never just ignoring somebody. Even if it looks like I'm ignoring somebody, I'm never doing that. I pay attention to what everybody tells me. And I lock it in the mind and I examine it. And I make my decisions based on ultimately how I feel. And sometimes I'm gonna make what appears to be a bad decision, but I feel like I have to do it. So I may make a decision to go do something that might go against what everybody else thinks I should do, but it's like, man, I need to go through this. I need to deal with this consequence. Sometimes, like we say, you got to go through that hell in order to come out right. So, like, I know that this is not the best decision, but I got to do it anyway because it's something I need to extract from it. So sometimes sometimes what you may deem as a bad decision is really a good decision, or a decision that you needed to make because you needed to experience whatever it was. So, hey, a lot of times, man, I don't even, some decisions, I don't even label them good or bad. It was like a decision that I made, and I took something from that. I needed to go through that so that I can know how to operate in this same scenario going forward. Or maybe I need to teach young folks underneath me about this scenario, so I got to sacrifice myself and walk through this fire first. And then I can instruct them on what not to do or what to do. Yeah, Bobby, for sure, man. That overthinking is a problem. It will lead to inactivity. You know what I'm saying? Or it will lead to you, like, overthinking on my end always leads to inactivity. You know what I'm saying? Like, you thinking so much and so hard, you end up doing absolutely nothing. And you let opportunities pass you by because you overthinking it. Like, nah, like, Forget all that. I'm just gonna make a decision. Man, if I gotta flip a coin to help me with the decision, I'll flip the coin. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately now I just decide now. I just say, all right, I'm gonna do this. I just do it. You know, that's how I do it. And now I just make decisions. Yeah, I just make decisions. I ain't even worry about that now. Like, all right, cool. I'm faced with this decision. Let me make it. I don't spend too much time on it, man. I have decreased my decision-making time. I have decreased it. You know, y'all, but hey, man, with that being said, I went over the time, but this was a good build. We tapped in. I forget to recommend my book all the time, but here go the book for the day: Successful Living in a Changing World. It's cool, little short read. So this is the book for the day. I always try to recommend a little book or so for the folks. You know, but this was a powerful build as always, man. I appreciate donations, appreciate the love, appreciate the comments, appreciate y'all taking the time out y'all wonderful Sunday. Tap in and add on. But I'm gonna let y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday evening. Do not know when I'm gonna tap in again. Maybe strive for Tuesday. That's when I'll probably have a little bit more time. But y'all be easy, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. Stay healthy, stay peaceful, stay black out here. I'm out, y'all. Peace.